Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are continuing a film journey in the filmography of Mel Brooks here, from what I understand. So, Boris brought us another film from his selection of films. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that film that you had us watch?
Yeah. So tonight we watched Robin Hood, The Man in Tights, another Mel Brooks movie. It was directed by Mel Brooks, written by J.D. Shapiro, Evan Chandler, and Mel Brooks, and stars Carrie Elves, if that's what it's pronounced like.
Yeah, that's how it's pronounced. You said it right.
Okay. Richard Lewis and Roger Rees. So, and what does it say? A spoof of Robin Hood in general, and Robin Hood. Okay, IMDb is giving me the Croatian title here. Robin Hood, the Prince of Thieves. Is that the original title?
No, it's a different movie.
Yeah, but the synopsis on IMDb says that this movie is a spoof of Robin Hood in general and Robin Hood, the Prince of Thieves.
I guess. I mean, he makes fun of Prince of Thieves once in the movie, but
when
he says that he can actually have a real English accent.
He makes fun of Prince of Thieves throughout the whole movie. If you know the movie Prince of Thieves,
Kevin Costner was good in the role, but he didn't have an English accent.
Yeah. So
I actually fully believe that they heavily make fun of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Talk louder, Dave. I can't hear you.
Yeah, David, you're barely hear you.
Okay.
I can't hear me louder than you. Well, that's something fucking weird.
Well, maybe I did something about my own volume.
Probably.
What about now?
That's better.
Okay. I actually fully believe that it was heavily made fun of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves throughout the movie. But anyways.
So do I.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Boris. Bring us in. What does IMDb say about the movie?
Well, it says exactly what I said. A spoof of Robin Hood in general and Robin Hood, the Prince of Thieves in particular. That's what it says.
Okay.
Disagree, but
that's what IMDb says.
And
of course, because that's what IMDb does.
They
are doing shit.
They are correct. And obviously, it's been a while since Ron has seen Prince of Thieves. So
there is also
a thieves and a two.
There is also a longer synopsis, but you, Dave, said that we should read the shorter one.
Yep.
So that's what I read.
So let's go into first impressions then.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with you, Dave. Is this the first time you watched this movie, and what were your first impressions?
This is actually the second time I have actually seen this movie, and I hated it the first time I ever saw it. Partially because
no sense of humor.
partially because Cary Elwes was from The Princess Bride. He was the dread pirate Roberts, at least in my mind. So when I hear Robin Hood, I I I don't think of him. I think of the dread pirate Roberts. The other thing
It was
is
also Wesley too.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, was and is probably the best Robin Hood that was ever made, besides Errol Flynn's Adventures of Robin Hood. At least of the of all the different Robin Hoods that I know that are out there. And I'm a avid fan of Robin Hood, the story in general. It is a classic story of robbing from the rich to give to the poor, and a story of romance to last the ages. And I
I
guess,
did that once when I was a teenager, and I got in trouble.
but I guess you could say that this is the first time a comedy thing has ever done the chastity belt thing. Scary Movie did it next.
Whoa, this is the first time.
Well, at least I haven't seen it before, unless you've seen it in any comedy movies before this.
Well, actually, I haven't, but I have heard a lot of jokes about that, so I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be used in comedies even earlier.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if it has or hasn't, but I guess of the because this was 1993. This is the first time that I remembered seeing that.
Wasn't Prince of Thieves 92?
This is IMDb says 93. The Wikipedia says 93.
Right, I said, isn't Prince of Thieves 92?
Yes, which was only a year before.
Yeah. Which is probably why they said it's more spoofing that, because it was a year later. And
No,
yeah.
if you actually have seen Prince of Thieves, it spoofs it throughout the film.
Yes, I've seen Prince of Thieves, and I agree with you for once.
But
But he didn't have an English accent, so that was
the reason why I disliked this was because I liked Prince of Thieves, and I guess at the time I thought a lot of the humor was forced, and maybe I didn't get it at the first time. This time around, I guess I liked it a little better, but it's still kind of low on the Mel Brooks likage. In my mind, it kind of like bottoms out with the 12.
Like I always say, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. They usually stink.
Yeah, that's generally true.
But I did enjoy rewatching it just because I think at the time that I watched it, I actually I don't remember the beginning, and I don't remember some of it. So I'm glad that I watched it in its entirety again. And because honestly, I watched it once, and then it's been on like quite a bit in the past on TV. So I've caught bits of pieces of it here and there over the years. But
yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the most Mel Brooks played movie, even more than Spaceballs.
Yeah, I know, and I guess I get a kick out of the Little John meeting. In each of the versions, there's always that.
I'm drowning, save me, I'm drowning. Well, the way Carrie Ellis just looked at the camera like, what the hell? Like, stand up, dude.
Like,
I think Carrie Ellis just knocked it out of the fucking park. And I absolutely love The Princess Bride, and he's
I guess the
definitely
moment-
Wesley and the Man in Black and blah blah blah. But
the moments of comedy blew over my head the first time I watched this. So I laughed a little bit at some of the pieces that played in my mind, and I guess it's less annoying to me.
That's good news. On the other hand, if he gets bad news, I'm in trouble.
I'm not saying it is a lovable film of the Robin Hood genre, but I get its place, and it is.
It's my second favorite Robin Hood spoof. Court Jester is my favorite.
In any case, Tammy, did you want to go next?
Doesn't Boris decide that since he's the host?
Okay, yeah. Tammy can be next.
Well, it wasn't my first time. I've watched it before, but it is not. I agree, it's not one of my favorite Mel Brooks. Probably because Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is one of my favorite movies, and so it was hard to get into the spoof that this one does.
You need to buy a sense of humor.
There was funny parts and everything and stuff, but it's hard to get into it when it's about a movie that you really really like. So
I fucking love Spaceballs, and you know how much of a fucking Star Wars nerd, so I completely disagree.
well, like you said, everybody has opinions are like an asshole. Everybody's got one.
And they usually think. You've got the second part. Humans are like assholes. Everyone's got one they usually think.
I mean, it was enjoyable, but I mean, there's definitely other movies of Mel Brooks that I like a lot more. It would not be on my top of the list for Mel Brooks movies. In fact, it's been so long since I watched it that when we watched it last night, it was just like, oh, okay, because I didn't remember like hardly anything from it.
In fact, you actually laughed quite a bit yesterday.
There was funny parts, yes, but I laughed a lot more with other movies of his than I did, But it was okay. I mean, like I said, it would not be the one that I would go, oh, a Mel Brooks movie, pick one. That would not be the one that I would pick.
It's where he's like, it's good to be the king.
Yes. Which was kind of a setback to
Kind of, it was definitely, it was Mel Brooks doing it, so,
history of the world.
Yeah. And of course, then,
I did enjoy
a black sheriff. Why? Works in Blazing Saddles.
I did enjoy Mel Brooks' cameo in here as the Rabbi Tuck.
You take your little thing, you put it in here, and just a snip. Oh, never mind.
And of course, there were a couple of guys jumping and say, "Hey, I'll do it."
Yeah, they were all saying they'll do it until he said what they were doing, and then nobody wanted to do it.
Until they saw the little guillotine and found out what it was for.
Put your little thing in here and snip the head off. Oh!
All right. Well, Boris.
There's things all over the place. Oh, bless the trees, bless the grass, bless the walks. We'll bless everything until we're snickered.
Who's your next victim?
You mean the next person to give first impressions, or?
Yes.
Well, Crow, the other two, have already said, or do you have anything to add, Tammy?
I'm all set.
Okay. What about you, Crow?
Never heard of this movie before. All right, I don't know how many times I've seen this movie. That's the truth. Definitely not my second time, or third, or fourth, or fifth. It's definitely seen it way more. I fucking love it. Right up there with Spaceballs. Yeah, I definitely love Blazing Saddles, but yeah, I think I'd have to put this and Spaceballs tied at number one. I don't know. I just absolutely have loved this movie, and yes, I loved Friends of Thieves. But again, for me, it was just I think spoof is the highest form of flattery you can give another thing. I mean, that's why Star Wars has been spoofed more than anything ever in existence because of how great Star Wars is. Yeah,
Makes sense.
I mean, yes, they spoof Star Trek and The Wizard of Oz a little bit, but it's majority Star Wars. Oh, and Planet of the Apes, but it's majority Star Wars. Um, like I don't know if you guys saw this, but it's a little bit related to what I'm saying. I just gotta say this real quick. Mo put a post about if a genie pops up and he made one wish, and he said it would be to do Pretty Woman with Gary Busey playing every role. And I said, Star Wars, but Rick Moranis playing every role.
I can see that happening.
Just because of him, playing Dark Helmet was so hilarious. It's just, I don't know. It just popped in my head when I read that, so I said it. But anyways, back to this. Yeah, I love it, and again, I agree that he's definitely Wesley. He's definitely the Man in Black. I fucking loved Princess Bride. But I did not have any issues differentiate him from that role to this role. I don't know. I think he's a phenomenal actor. I love Cary Elwes, everything he's in. I loved him when he was the thief in Psych. Yeah, Psych. The TV show. He had a guest role, a two-part guest role, in that show. And I love that show, but that was probably the two best episodes in the series. But like I said, I love Cary Elwes. He's just great, and of course, the whole cast is great. And of course we had spoofs of all of Mel Brooks movies in it. Six Man Patton came in and get to play a role, and he's kind of remind you of the dad in Spaceballs. I mean, even though it was the same actor, but just the character. Hey man, I hate that guy. And Patrick Stewart and Sean Connery's role as the real king.
Hey, he got to kiss the main actress. So
yeah, I don't know. I was not a big fan of the Tracy Ullman show. I never thought she was funny at all. So when I saw she was in it, I was like, but she actually did a great fucking job as Latrine. We changed it. You changed the name to Latrine? It used to be a shit house. I've quoted this movie all for my life. I mean, all the lines and stuff. I mean, I do that with movies I love. Obviously, everyone quotes fucking Star Wars, and most quote, one particular scene, but wrong completely. But But that I don't believe is the what's it
Mandela
called? The
effect.
one, yeah, thank you, Mandela effect, because that is just a couple people I think getting it wrong, and then other people just going along with it because it's when you're saying it to people that don't know Star Wars as much as others, saying Luke, I'm your father, it kind of tells them it's Star Wars. They get what it is. So that's why in my head I was like, all right. Now I knew that wasn't the exact line, but even I had said it at the time just because it became generally popular way to say it. But I knew it was the wrong way to say it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, although I did hear some, some Darth Vader talking toys that you can press and they produce a sound that actually say, "Look, I am your father." So
Yeah.
maybe.
So I mean, but I bet you the toy manufacturers thought that's the way it was supposed to go because that's what everyone said. Because whoever was in charge of that probably wasn't really a big Star Wars fan and just wanted to make money off those Star Wars names. So,
Uh,
which happens all the time. Look I mean, not to get off topic, not that we ever do, but
no, we never do that.
no, never. The Grammys, I don't remember what year it was. Metallica was up for the Grammy and a few other for best metal band, and Jethro Tull won. And the whole world of metal and anyone that knew metal was just like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a fan of Jethro Tull. I like Jethro Tull. Is he metal? Not in the fucking least. I wouldn't even call him soft rock. Like, he's just, just he's a rock. He's just, but not even close to metal. Not even close. That's why it was hilarious. The year after Metallica did win, and Lars Ulrich is like, it's a good thing Jethro Tull isn't up again. Well, that's it because the Grammy. That's the biggest stain in the Grammys history of them not having a clue about their own categories. The category is metal. Like, obviously, they have no clue what metal was at all. And it was blatantly obvious to the entire world. Well, anybody that knows what metal is, the entire world of metal, and
yeah.
Now, my uncle doesn't tell us his favorite band, and when I told him the story, he's like, "Oh, great for them!" Like, you missed the point. I mean, metal because he liked Ozzy. I mean, he wasn't a fan of metal after the '70s because I don't know, just wasn't. So, but he still knows what metal is. So for him to think that was cool, all right. I was just like, I know he's your favorite band, but that's like, I watched MTV Headbangers Ball and Bon Jovi was on it once, and I'm like, hey, Bon Jovi was one of my favorite bands at the time, but they're not metal. They're light rock. Definitely not metal. So, but anyways, I digress. Getting way off topic.
No, Bon Jovi is definitely not. It's more like hair band or glam metal.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call him hair band either. I mean, he had the long hair, yeah, but he definitely was not a glam or a hair band either. I would definitely argue that. But anyways, Robin Hood Men in Tights, like I said, I've been quoting it for years, and I just absolutely love it, and we'll get to the favorite parts, but yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of things that I remember about this movie. I mean, I remembered most of it. The one thing that I forgot was that he met, in this version, he meets the father first, a sneeze, and then he meets Chew. So when I saw him, I'm like, wait, that's not Dave Chappelle. And I'm like, and I kind of remembered it, but so. All right, so that's my first impression. Sorry, it was a little short.
So for me, this was the first time I watched the movie, and it was pretty fun.
Oh, great
Uh,
choice.
yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I kind of prodded him to choose this movie, or Blazing Saddles, because I wanted us to do both of those movies.
Yes, is I don't know. You guys wanted us to do 4 Mel Brooks movies in a row, so I went with the flow. Otherwise, I would have probably picked a horror movie or something. But okay.
Again, that was my idea, but to be fair, I did not start it. That was Tammy, and again, that was um, to honor her dad that had just passed. And
Oh,
in a way, I think
oh yeah.
that this whole month kind of honored him because I'm sure he's was probably a fan of all these movies, because he was a fan of Mel Brooks,
Oh,
Yeah,
right?
he
oh,
because in fact
oh.
I bought this Mel Brooks
Yeah.
of
So,
pack of
um,
movies, so I ended up giving my dad all of mine.
yeah.
Because
So in a way, the whole month was kind of. I mean, I didn't obviously. I never knew the guy, and Boris didn't know the guy, but it was Tammy's dad, and he just passed, and they watched movies together all the time. That was their thing, and he loved Mel Brooks, so I just thought. And Mel Brooks has a bunch of great, funny movies, and their movies, all the movies, kind of, can go together. They all spoof each other. And honestly, I figured everybody loves Rowan Midnight Heights, but I really didn't realize that Dave and Tammy didn't, honestly. And then I was kind of wondering, well, will Boris like this? Because your tastes are a little bit different.
Mm,
So
well,
I don't know how I'm gonna
generally,
feel.
yeah.
But
My tastes are a bit different. I won't deny that, but it was quite funny. There were some
yeah,
moments when
I
I
don't think
also
I don't think
sorry.
the humor wasn't like American wasn't just American humor, like you didn't get it. Like sometimes you watch a movie and you just don't quite get what's funny about it because of the slang that's used or whatever. And this wasn't that kind of comedy, like it doesn't really matter the language you speak, you can laugh at the movie. Like you could not speak English at all, only watch the English version, no subtitles, and still watch the movie and laugh. Just the way the actors are acting, it's funny, without knowing what they're saying, in my opinion.
Oh, well, indeed, there are some. There are quite several moments that really are hilarious, even if you cannot understand anything. There were some parts that I saw were supposed to be funny, but I personally didn't find them too funny. But there were some that were hilarious. So all in all, it was a good movie. I did have quite a bit of good laugh with it, and
I'm
I'm
glad.
glad I watched it.
it's not that I don't like the movie; it's just not my number one Mel Brooks.
Right. What? Well, that's what I mean. I mean, I know you guys are saying. No, I know you're not saying you didn't. Well, I mean, Dave said he hated the
Let's
first
just
time, which
put
I didn't know.
let's just put
But
it this way. I didn't hate it. Hate it.
Dave, you're really low again.
I didn't hate it this time as much as I did the first time.
Yeah, I know you said that. But I mean, I didn't know you hit. I mean, I don't know. I have one of those things. If I like a movie or love a movie, everybody loves the movie. That's just in my head. That's the way it goes. I mean, maybe I'm a little me centric, but everybody is.
You are me.
Oh,
Oh, I know I am, but at least I admit it.
It's not just a little. You are me centric.
I know that, but at least I admit it. Everybody else is me centric too, but they don't admit it. Whether you want to call that a fault or a strength of mine, either way you look at it.
I think it's a little bit of both.
That's what I would think too.
Okay, then everybody better love Led Zeppelin, Dracula, and Wolves. Okay.
I agree. Like, what's not so fucking love about Dracula, Wolves, and fucking Zeppelin? Is Zeppelin my favorite band? No, but I love Zeppelin. I don't ever go, oh, it's Zeppelin, or turn it down at Zeppelin, or flip to the next song. You know, it's fucking Zeppelin. I sing along to it, listen to it. You know, I love it. And my friend Joe had a Led Zeppelin tattoo on his arm. I mean, he's obviously a humongous Zeppelin fan. I met, well, not anyone in the actual band of Zeppelin originally, but the son, I told you that story. Yeah, Jason Bonham. So, you know.
I got to talk to you. You're old enough to remember Rockline.
Rockline?
Yeah, it was a 800 call-in thing to talk to.
Oh, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was back when everybody had a 900 number to call.
Well, I got through on Rockline to talk to Robert Plant, and I have myself on tape talking with Robert Plant.
That's fucking awesome. I mean, it's weird. It's like Zeppelin, we wouldn't like have a reunion tour, but then it was Page and Plant, which was basically Zeppelin. Yeah.
I went to both Page and Plant tours.
Yeah, I never got to go. I never went. I wish I could have.
I went to both of them.
I would have loved to have actually seen Zeppelin. It's like I would love to have seen Black Sabbath with Ozzy. I've seen Ozzy twice, but I've never seen
Black Sabbath with Ozzy at what's called Alpine Valley here, and it was Ozfest.
That was weird. Mo had seen Black Sabbath twice and never seen Ozzy by himself. I had seen Ozzy twice and never seen Black Sabbath at all.
Yeah, that was the year that they reunion at Ozfest.
Yeah.
And I was there.
Yeah, Mo was there too. In the Oregon, when it was in Oregon.
Okay, get back to our movie though.
I was probably working. Yeah. We never get off topic.
Yeah.
That time, that wasn't my fault.
I do one more thing though. I do appreciate you guys kind of thinking the same with the Mel Brooks thing and kind of thinking of it as a way to honor my dad all month because.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm hoping he is looking down on us, and I think he would really appreciate it because he really did like Mel Brooks a lot. That was
laughing his ass off up in the clouds.
Right. So I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Your children. Well, every time you tell a movie story, almost every time you tell a movie story, I watched this for the first time with my dad. It always starts with that, almost every time on this show and when I was on the other show, so, I know that you and your dad, that was your thing. You watched movies together. You always introduced you to great movies and, so, I thought it was a great way,
just like to some really good ones. And, on the other show, I've always we never did Toxic Avenger, but if we would have, I would have told that everybody would have been probably a little bit freaked out because the first time I ever watched Toxic Avenger was my dad showed it to me. And when he showed it to me, I was just looking at him like, what is this?
Why do you like it? Yeah, I had never saw that until we watched it on the other show. I heard about it, of course, even when it came out, but I don't know. It was okay. But
of all the movies he showed me and everything, it was just gonna this came out of left field. It's like what the hell?
It wasn't like anything else that you guys had watched together. Yeah, so that was the thing with my mom. Everything. She was a Superman fan, Star Wars fan, Star Trek fan, horror fan, and did I mention horror fan? And let's not forget horror fan. She didn't like murder, like murder ones, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or the um um House of Thousand Corpses type movies. She's not a fan of those type of movies at all.
But
The
which
slashers,
kind, what kind of
monsters,
horror did she like?
monsters and ghosts and supernatural. Pretty much the same as me. I pretty much have the same taste. She just liked them way more than me. I
Well,
also got my taste from my mom, but I also got okay, I'm kind of sick of horror movies. That's why I'm so big on not doing horror movies. Cause my mom was a humongous fan, and me and my sister watched them all the freaking time. We really have a choice. Well, I mean, we could
but
have done played and
uh,
not watched TV, but
but in that case, how come you're not sick of Superman or something like that if she was
because I
into that
fucking
too?
love Superman.
Ah,
That's the difference. I mean, I love some of the monster horror. Now, when I was a kid, a little kid, I was not a fan of Dracula as much and Frankenstein. And I definitely did not like the Wolfman. Probably my least favorite when I was a little kid because he scared the fuck out of me. He's one of my
yeah.
favorites now, but I know he's not real. And a 6'4" black dude with a beard in the grocery store is not the Wolfman, even though I kept screaming and calling him the Wolfman when I was like 2.
The Wolfman's real. I live with him every day.
Huh?
Uh,
Yeah,
Wolfman's real. I live with him every day.
yeah. I don't know. I think he has more hair than Wolfman does.
Oh.
Yeah, well, Diego and I don't think he likes the Wolfman. David put on that mask. See that? David put
I
that
actually no. See, he has a werewolf mask. I actually just bought a Wolfman mask. That will be my mask for the movie. I was looking at werewolves. I saw that one. Now I was gonna go just buy the cheapest one. I saw that. Now it wasn't really expensive, but it wasn't the cheapest. But I'm like, I have to have this. It was actually only $15 and change, and it comes with the full mask, and it looks so much like the fucking Wolfman in the movie. Like they did such an. I mean, obviously it's not Hollywood quality, but they did such a great replica of that version. I was like, yeah, I have to do the Wolfman. I was just gonna do like a werewolf, but I definitely I grabbed it because that is like I love the Wolfman. So it's not just a mask that I'm gonna wear for the movie one time and that's it. Because it's gonna be like kind of a collector's item for me because freaking
Well, he
love the
put it
Wolfman.
on, and Diego was sitting over by the window. He put it on and walked up to him and gurred at him. And Diego sat up, put his ears back, and just stared at him. And I'm like, oh, I said, stop it. You're scaring him.
I don't think he was too scared. If he was too scared, he would have ran the fuck away.
No, Diego's remember like 14 pounds. He's not a little wimp, but he looked like he was scared.
Yeah. Well, he might have been, but I'm just saying he wasn't terrified because, cats generally run away when they are.
He was terrified in place. He just sat there, put his ears back, and stared at him.
My 3-year-old niece scares the hell out of my sister's cat all the time. But she's a terror. She looks like an angel, but she's a freaking demon.
Is that an Elvis Presley song reference?
Is it? I don't think so.
Yes,
You know,
the song is called "Devil in Disguise," and my mom always said.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I forgot about that.
My mom always said that was my song. Devil in Disguise.
Yeah, I got told that was my song too.
Well, now
Well,
I'm disappointed.
Really
no one has ever said it was my song.
It really is Christina's song. She is a demon. She really is. I mean, like my sister and I joke joke, and I'm putting up quotation marks, like we hope it's just a joke, that she's gonna be an evil genius when she's older, because she's smart as hell. She is super, super smart. She will have a conversation with you. She's 3, okay, and she will have a conversation with you. She has conversations with her grandmother who's passed away while she's looking at the urn where my mom's ashes are at. She'll look at the ashes and she'll have a conversation with grandma.
Wow.
Yeah. So she's very in tune, psychically in tuned, and just super, 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 super smart. Which is why I wanted her to go into the online school, because they're offering kindergarten, the online school that I'm marketing, and I wanted my sister to have her do it. They allow, if the kid, they allow 3-year-olds. If the kid is old enough to understand, they can go to the kindergarten, and it's free, no cost. So I think it would have been great for her, but my sister has her own thoughts, and it's her kid, so I can only bug her so much. Which is every day, but hey, it's my sister. If I didn't bug her, she'd be wondering what's wrong.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, we're 11 years apart, but now it's funny. My sister didn't plan this, and my mother claims she didn't plan it. I don't believe her. But my nephew is 11 years old, and my niece too. But my niece picks on my nephew. He's 15. She's 3. She picks on him.
Oh wow.
I told you, she's a fucking evil. But anybody else messes with him, she took a baseball bat, not a real one, a plastic one, and he went to hit the kid that was messing with her brother.
So she's like, only I can mess with him, nobody else.
Exactly. Now, unfortunately for the kid's brother, he ducked, and the smaller kid got hit with the bat. Again, it was only a plastic bat, but still, she can hit kind of hard. She was 2 at the time, or 2-year-old. But yeah, so she stood up. He was 14 at the time. She stood up for her 14-year-old brother at 2, which definitely reminds me of her mother, because my friend Big Jeff was playing punches with me. I don't know, shoulders. It's when you punch each other's shoulders hard. And I was like, ow, when he punched my shoulder, because he was 6'4" and all muscle, and it hurt. And my sister was about up to his kneecap. Okay, she looked up at him, pointed her finger in his face, up to his face, and said, "You leave my brother alone." My friend just cracked up loud, just like, "Get her!" He just immediately just respected her immediately, like, because she just got right up in his face. She's like up to his kneecap, yelling at him. So funny. But hey, let's talk about the movie.
Yeah, especially since you like the movie so much. Where are we even? I forgot.
We haven't even started, dude. you said what IMDb said about the movie. You were starting to say some of the cast, and that was about it. The cast, I don't know.
We have done everyone's first impressions, right?
Yes, we've done everyone's first impressions. Well, no, you didn't. Actually, I interrupted you. Sorry. Celine, I think it's yours.
Okay, maybe, yeah, but not sure if I had anything to add about my first impressions.
Don't, then we can move on with the plot.
Yeah, I think so.
So where do we begin?
At the beginning. Where else?
Yeah, like at the beginning,
in the beginning, God made Adam and God made Eve. Oh wait, not that far back. And no, I'm not a Christian, and I don't believe Adam and Eve were first, but you know, it was funny.
Yeah, I didn't expect biblical references thrown in here.
Especially for me.
Yeah.
especially from the pagan of the group.
Ooh, pretty much.
From the what group?
The pagan of the group.
Exactly. We got a pagan, ex-Satanist, and I don't know what the hell you two are.
I'm Lutheran.
That's what I was. I was born Lutheran.
I was born non-denominational, but I grew up Lutheran.
And here we are going off topic again.
Okay, so the beginning starts in a jail cell.
Yeah.
Sort of, because they're bringing Robin of Locksley through this, right?
Yes.
Mrs. of Locksley.
So, what do we all think about this beginning prison scenery where he gets thrown in? He's like, oh wait, I can't have you sit here. They give him a beard, and he ends up sitting next to a prisoner.
Well, you can't forget the tongue. Get the tongue puller. Where's your king? King? What king?
Yeah. By the way, guys, I'm sorry for weird stuff happening on my screen. For those who don't know, I'm having some technical glitches. I usually do this with my laptop, but now something is. I have a temporary new laptop, and something is wrong with my webcam and microphone here. So I'm using my phone now. So things are a bit all over the place for me right now. So I apologize for that.
Not a problem.
Thanks.
I always use my phone, so I don't know what the issue is.
Yeah, well, then I guess you are used to it, and I am not.
Well, the phone I'm using though, kicks me off a lot. Why I'm using it is because my other phone, I switched my Facebook account, and I don't have Delusions of Grandeur on this other account on the other phone, so I wasn't able to hit the link. I was like, ah, son of a bitch. And yeah, I could have logged out, logged in, but that's just too much work.
Okay, so he meets an African American prisoner on the inside. They start. They start.
We need a feat of strength. No, a strength of feet. Strength of feet? Yes, like this. On the count of feet. Go!
And of course, they end up escaping. They help the other prisoners escape. They tell the other guy, the prisoner dude, "Hey, good news! He's decided to give up his king." Really?
Yes, I'm going to give up my king to save my life. I'm so ashamed. Go tell him. I'm going to go tell him right now. And he gets stopped and turn around. Please, go tell him, go.
So, except for coming back a couple of times.
He loves good news. On the other hand, bad news.
Go away, and they and all the prisoners escape, and he comes back, and he's like, "Oh shit, I'm fucked." What do y'all think about that? Tammy, what did you think about that beginning prisoner break?
Oh yeah, he said I'm in deep shit or something like that.
I thought it was pretty good because you know it only took you only had to undo like the feet thing, and all of a sudden everybody was all their stuff, all the chains were undone, like boom, just by undoing the one chain on their feet, and then they all climb up the thing and out they go. And it's like the one dude's like holding it open and they all go running out. It was just like, okay. It just seemed like, because it was supposed to be funny, but it's just the funny part was seemed like it was so easy for them to escape. Why couldn't they have done it before Robin of Locksley showed up,
Well, yeah, and I guess one of the things that I had a problem with was how clean cut and undirty his face really was. To have been in this prison. I mean, in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, he had long hair, he had a beard. I mean, he was he looked like he stunk. Like
But that was
he
the
looked like
spoof
he
about
had
it.
to shower before he got in this prison. So
That was
I
the
wish
spoof
that
about it. Carrie Ellis looked like he was, completely clean shaven and everything, and just had that fake beard that everyone could tell was definitely a fake beard. That was the funny part of the movie. Obviously, to you missed it, or you just didn't like it, or whatever.
I
But I found that hilarious.
I did not, and to me that was like, okay, if you're going to be spoofing something, at least be historically accurate, or at least
Well, see, I think they did such a great job spoofing it, not being so accurate. They instead of trying to be as close to accuracy as they could, they went above and beyond, just like they did in Spaceballs. I mean, was Rick Moranis stock helmet anything like Darth Vader? No, they went the complete opposite. And it was hilarious.
to each their own.
I agree. Each their own.
All right. So after they escape from the prison, what do, Boris?
So after they escape from prison, Robin meets this guy. Okay, he is one of those who got rescued by him. Yeah, this guy named Sneeze, who tells him about his son, who is named Achul. uh, yeah, and shortly afterwards, when Robin swims to England.
This part I did find funny because he was like, "Oh, quickly, you gotta swim with the tide."
Yep. Because he was trying to get him to shut up because he was driving him nuts. Which was another spoof because, Kevin Costner's Robin Hood would went into these big, long speeches throughout the movie. So that's why they kept having him stop and do it. But the way he always did it, it put people to sleep or whatever. So.
Well, you don't swim with the tide. You swim when the tide is going out. You don't swim with the tide. So,
he's a pretty darn good swimmer. He swam all the way from Jerusalem to Britain.
Well, he did swim all the way to Britain. Although that looked like a big ass Hollywood sign. Britain or England. It
said England. Well, on the map, when they were showing him swimming, the line of him swimming, it said Britain. Then when they closed up, it said England, like Hollywood style.
It didn't even sink into my mind that the swimming was supposedly all the way from Jerusalem. Wow.
Yeah. And that's why he was kissing the ground because he was finally on ground and everything. And then, like they show that with a lot of people that are shipwrecked, or at sea for a long time. They're like so thankful to be on ground. They kiss the ground, or say they could kiss the ground, and he kisses the ground, and then of course he gets sand in his mouth and all over his face. Hey, he's finally dirty in that scene.
And the next thing you see is the character of a Chew, because he looks at the picture a couple of times. He's like, "Is that him?"
Hey, I know, he's like looking at him like, "Is that really him?" Yeah. Well, he's getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, he's getting his ass kicked, and he's.
I call it that was more of a spoof on real life events with the Rodney King thing with the police beating. I mean, that's not a funny issue, but Mel Brooks and a lot of other directors will take real life things that weren't really funny and spoof them and make it funny.
And actually, didn't the film start with like an old hip hop beat by some knights of some sort?
Well, yeah, right. Well, right at the beginning, we had the guys singing about the Robin Hood story, and they were rapping right in the beginning. So, yeah, they kind of had that vibe. They definitely had a pop vibe throughout the whole movie. Different scenes.
Yeah, because Achu was played by David Chevelle, or David.
Yeah, which I fucking love. I love David Chappelle too. This was definitely full a cast full of people I love.
Of course, they do some karate here.
Yeah, do you know Praying Mantis? I am Praying Mantis. That scene was so
you have not heard the last of us. Shoo. You have heard the
last of us. I lost. I can't believe it. I lost. That's a later scene, but I just had to think of it.
But anyways, he I think that's when he then goes to his where his manor sits, and it's being repossessed.
Yeah, he's like, I'm finally home at my castle. Oh, boy, make a big deal about his castle, and all of a sudden it starts moving.
Oh, yeah, jeez.
Because King John, what was his last name?
No, Prince. He was Prince John.
Prince, yeah.
Yeah, he earned the crown, but he didn't go as far as to call himself king.
Yeah. Did he even have any last name?
He was called something at that point in time.
Paulie Lionheart, right? Wasn't that Richard Lionheart, or is that wasn't his actual? They didn't have last names. That's why Robin Hood was always like of Locksley. Like Locksley was the name of the castle. So like Ben, they didn't use last names. I think it was a matter of there wasn't a lot of people. So like first names was usually enough. There wasn't like a bunch of Johns and whatever's names. So, or they would say, for either like Robin Hood used his manor because he was kind of like a lord, right? But other workers like a blacksmith would be like, I'm John the blacksmith, or I'm John the blacksmith's son, or whatever. They would use their job as like their last name because they didn't have last names. That's a historical fact right there, people.
Ooh, yeah.
This is when they meet the blind.
The more you know. Ding.
This is when they meet the blind servant.
Blinken. He's taking a shitter reading a Braille Playboy.
Yeah. Ye old Playboy.
I could have sworn there was a door here. Oh my God! You lost your arms and you're getting boobs. I'm blinking. I'm over here. Oh, they took the house away. Oh, I thought it felt breezy in here. He was the worst blind man ever, except for when he actually catches the dart that was going to kill him near the end of the movie. Like he couldn't hear, he couldn't like. I can see smack. Oh, nope.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that part was weird. Like, for a moment, I thought his sight had actually come back, but then apparently not.
I think it did. Yeah, in the character sense, he got it back, but then he turned around so fast he didn't realize the tree was there. 'Cause he's not used to even seeing things.
Who?
So he turns around so fast and smacks into the tree and knocks it back out of him.
Yeah, get back out.
That Little John's son comes running through, or what was supposed to be Little John's son.
No, well, yeah, but he wasn't Little John's son in this one.
Yeah,
He was just
no,
a
he
kid. Obviously, they were spoofing Home Alone. That was supposed to be like Macaulay Culkin, because they always had him running into the screen and screaming with his hands over his face. I'm Home Alone. From Home Alone 1 and 2.
So, wait, so this was an intentional reference to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you notice, like most Mel Brooks movies, they don't just they'll have like one main theme they spoof, but then they'll spoof a bunch of other movies a little bit here and there. Which if you know those movies, you'll catch it.
I do know Home Alone, but it didn't cross my mind.
Home Alone, it was super popular at the time that this movie came out, so it was very, very much popular.
Rottenham with his kazoo nights.
They're after me. Who are after you? Who are you? I am the sheriff. And what has this man done? He dared to kill a dare in the King's Road.
They all sound like they were playing the zoos.
Yeah, I know. That was so hilarious. Hey, I love when he's talking. He's like, I will pay for this. Yep. Mm-hmm. You will pay. Oh, he did such a great fucking role. He had such a great role. Great role. Now, sometimes I actually confuse like who played the parts. Like I confuse the actors from the Prince of Thieves for the actors of this one. Like for some reason, I was expecting
Alan Rickman.
No, not that. Well, I think other times I watched it, I was. Rest in peace, Alan Rickman.
Yes.
But no. At the end, King Richard, Sean Connery. For some reason, I was picturing Sean Connery coming in and Patrick Stewart. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Sean Connery's in the real version.
Although I did like that John Luke Picard shows up, So
yeah. I get the kiss. I get the kiss. I mean that was total spoof because that's not what happened. In Prince of Thieves, he's like, she was his cousin, and so he was like, I have to give her away. Like that was why he said he objected. But in this one, because he gets to kiss, it's my right as king. It's good to be the king. As he smacks a good one on her. But that's the end, so let's not skip that far.
I do like this moment where he actually makes the sheriff of Rottingham go upside down and gets his head.
Yeah, he's like, I challenge you. He pulls out the handle of his sword. There's no sword, and he's just like, guards, kill him. Put the sword to his neck. Never mind, guards. I changed my mind. And he smacks the horse, which trods off with him still upside down. So ooh, banging his head on the ground, and all the guards going ooh. So then he goes in and tells, Prince John the news. He's like, I hope it's not bad news. I hate bad news. It's a good day today. it's bad news. Well, maybe if you tell me the bad news in a good way. He starts
Oh yeah.
laughing and he tells, "Oh well, Loxley is back," and he just beat the hell out of Mima Men, which was a lie because he never touched any of the men. They just all sat on their horse and didn't do shit. He got his ass kicked, yes. I just got my ass kicked by and he hates you, and he wants to see you hung, and he's gonna. Well, this terrible news. Why are you laughing? Well, I just want to soften the blow. Well, it didn't work. So fucking hilarious. And then they go upstairs like, I know, the train will know what to do. And then he goes, and he's like, oh, she's so ugly. And the prince goes up there and she's making this stuff and the eggs of a lizard and eye of newt and frog's nads, or I think it was a frog or something's nads, and I guess he's not sexual now, and she laughs and she's like, oh no, Robin Hood, he's back and he's charming and strong and he's gonna rebel against you. And he's like, well, what else you see? He's like, I don't know, I want to know more. Hire a witch. I'm just your cook. Eat your food. He's got eggshells on the food and stuff.
He spits it out.
And then you find out that there's
something that she says where she's like, "I'll help you do this if you can."
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like, so she comes out with a potion that will make Robin Hood not be able to do anything, and which is funny because she actually never did that. They never did that. But she said she would.
And
she said she
also,
would. And Prince, and she said on one condition, that she can. She wants one thing. She wants to marry the sheriff, and he's just like, oh, anything else like that's not gonna happen. And she's like, and it's like, then you can't have it. And he's like, well, wait, maybe. Why would he ever want? He's a handsome man. Why would he ever want you? Well, then you can't have my potion. He's like, wait. Maybe if we get him drunk, and then he looks at her, he's like, very drunk. It could happen.
oh yeah, and that part about getting him drunk for her, that didn't happen either.
No, but it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But she did end up getting him.
Oh yeah.
I take it back, kill me.
Yeah, that was good.
He was a shithead, but I almost felt bad for him. But anyways, yeah. So then I was at the okay. So they meet. The three of them go, and then they go to cross the bridge in Sherwood Forest, and Little John is standing there and across the bridge, and he's saying, "Pay the toll," and Robin's like, "No, I'm not paying the toll," and they're gonna fight with sticks, and it was Dave Chappelle's like, "Hold on," well, a Chew's character.
I like how the sticks keep breaking.
In any Robin Hood, this fight actually happens with.
Yeah, exactly. I love how this was a tiny little river, like not even a river. It was just a little bit of water and a hole, and a Chew's like jumping from one side to the other. See, I'm on the west coast. I'm on the west side. On the east side, the west side. You don't need to fight over this, but it's the principle of it.
I like how the sticks kept breaking, getting smaller.
The sticks kept breaking. The best part was the end when they started playing hot hands, but instead of using their hands, they were using the sticks. And he knocks Little John into the water. Oh, Johnny, help me! I can't swim, I'm drowning. And Carrie Ellis just looks at the camera like, Val? Then jumps in and saves him, and then he hugs him. He's like, what? I can't breathe.
It would have actually been funny if he had if he had let him stay that way for a while to see how long it was going him to take to realize that he's not drowning.
Yeah, you just sit up. I mean, the water probably barely covered his foot.
Yeah.
And he acts like he really saved his life right afterwards. And then, of course, he tells them, "Hey, I've got to go and do something about this this Prince John."
Well, but hold on, we didn't mention, and here's my best friend. What was his first name? Scarlett O'Hara. And then, look, I'm from Georgia, so of course that was proofing on Gone with the Wind. And
Yeah.
he shoot the arrow at my heart. Okay, goodbye. And then he goes and puts the knives away and loses his pants. I would do that part out. Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
references. I'm from Georgia. I'm from here. I'm from states. In the
Yeah.
United States.
Yeah.
That,
And that's when they're like, we'll get the villages and we'll get all the men and go with you. No. One person can sneak in better. Like you were saying, Dave, and that's when he says, and then of course, they're all eating, and Maid Marian's there, and Sheriff Nottingham's hitting on her because he has the hots for her, and she can't stand him, and in comes Robin, just walks in the front, knocks over the two guards that are watching the doors, carrying a wild pig. He drops it on the food. Here's and the sheriff's like, you can't kill a wild boar and bring it here. That's not a wild boar. That's a wild pig. That's a wild boar, pointing to the prince. He's like, aha, you got jokes. Very funny. Yeah, and then of course Nottingham sheriff comes over and says, I challenge you to a duel, smacks his face, and I'm like, ooh, and he goes like the gauntlet and knocks him down. Except it's like just me and you, mano a mano, man against man, me and my guards, get him.
Yeah, cheater.
Well, you had to expect. He's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And we get this famous scene where he's gonna knock all the candles, the candle holder thing down and on top of all the guards, and somehow misjudges it and it falls on him, and all the guards start laughing.
Oh yeah. Can you guess what my reaction to that was?
Spudow!
Oh yeah, Spudow!
well, one of my favorite parts is coming up when all the
dominoes.
The knights.
Yeah, all the knights come in.
When they made this movie to set that up and have it all go pew 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 pew.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I hope it's worth all this noise. I love how all the knights just walk right by him and just stand there behind him. Don't try to arrest him or attack him or anything. And then he grabs the rope as they're all just standing there. And then he flies down, hits the first knight, and they're all just topple over. Like those knights, like there were people in there, and then I was like, the people weren't there anymore. It was just like it was empty, and it was just fucking hilarious. And the whole thing was just like dominoes.
Yeah, now imagine if while they were filming it, if something had gone wrong, and then they would have to set it all up again.
I'm sure it did. I mean, you and Dave and Tammy, the ones that usually watch behind the scenes, I don't know if you guys did, but I'm sure they probably talked about it if there was, because, yeah, I'm sure they probably had to set that scene up a lot.
I didn't.
Dominoes is hard to set up. This is fucking live action, fucking full suit of armor. Can you imagine trying to get that all set up to work just right as dominoes?
Yeah. Speaking of speaking of behind the scenes and stuff, sorry for me going off topic now, but do you maybe know any website or anything where those special features that are usually found on physical copies of movies, where
I
they
would
can be
just,
found online?
I'd look at YouTube.
Ah, only that.
I mean, I don't honestly know if they're there, but if they're gonna be, I mean, they're probably other places. I've never looked it up. I've thought about looking at it. I have looked up Star Wars and I found that. But other than Star Wars, um, I would say YouTube because you like sometimes I'll watch a Marvel movie and I'll watch it I'll watch it like on the camera version when it's at the theater, and I won't get the end credit scenes, so I'll look up end credit scenes, and those are always on YouTube. So I would imagine that people have uploaded the special effects version on and put on YouTube, or the behind the scenes, but I don't honestly know. So, but I would go with YouTube, and I don't think Dave and Tammy know because they always buy the DVD or Blu-ray with that on there. So,
Makes sense.
but yeah, I mean, you could just type it in like whatever movie you want behind the scenes. Watch for free, blah blah, blah. But if you weren't looking for a specific platform, I'd go with YouTube.
I see.
That's where I ended up watching the movie. Now, when I looked it up, it said Disney Plus. I'm like, Disney Plus? That's weird. Of course, it wasn't. It was the cartoon, but it said Robin Men in Tights was on Disney Plus, which some reason I'm still paying for. I don't know why. I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV in months, but yeah, I just forgot to cancel it, I guess. So, and I still couldn't watch it. Well, I mean, I could, but yeah. Now HBO Max, we've watched what 2 or 3 movies now that was on fucking HBO Max. After that, that I did finally canceled. I actually canceled that before I stopped watching TV because of all the changes they made with that moron president of Discovery Channel taking over Warner Brothers. We won't get into that topic. I'd be on a tirade for hours. Anyways, back to the movie. We got the domino scene, which yes was definitely a hilarious, absolutely hilarious scene.
Oh yeah.
And Big John, Big John, not Big John, Little John, and all the other merry men had come in to help Robin, and this is where we got Blinking. Was I guess he assumed he was fighting another person, and he was chopping the hell out of I guess it's supposed to be like in a house. The banister they hold up the house. Obviously, it's the castle, so I think that was just decoration. But yeah, that was pretty hilarious. So he thinks he's fighting somebody, but he's actually just fighting the wood. Fighting the wood. So and then Big John picks up the thing, and they all duck and throws it at the guards. All the guards all fall down, and they leave. And so then I think with the we've got during the fight, May Marian like sees Robin and she's me like ooh yeah, she gets the tingling in her panties, you know what I mean, and and he looks at her like ooh, yeah, definitely want to deflower her, and they almost kiss under the table, and of course they get interrupted. Not the first time. Every time they went to kiss, they got interrupted. Until the end. But yeah. So she's rooting for Robin, and then I think now we have the scene. Okay, now I think is the scene. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but now we have the scene where their plot. We got Dom DeLuise playing the Godfather type role. He's from Jersey and he's got cotton balls and he's sounding like Brand. What the fuck is his name? The Godfather dude.
Uh,
Dave.
Oh, that would be Marlon Brando.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Brando, yeah. I never watched those movies. I don't like that kind of shit, so I'm not a fan. But anyways, I knew the reference, and of course, then he had his first sidekick, who didn't have a tongue, with a Dirty Harry, and he called him Dirty Aaron, or Dirty something. That was like Harry. Basically, he looked a lot like Clint Eastwood. That was a great job. And then the other guy, um, who talked, um, like an idiot. We've come to you on this day of your daughter's wedding, and we just got introduced. Shut up, sit down. Dom DeLuise was great. I love him. Loved him. He was so great. Um, we gotta watch the end one of these days. So anyways, so they're sitting and he's like, basically plotting, like they're gonna trick, have an event, an archer event, something you can't refuse, and like, yeah, but he's the best archer in the world or whatever, and they're around, and like, no, he's better. Look, show him all your awards. Wow, that's was my thought. What I said too. So they got their plot, and then they're like, "Dirty." He doesn't say much. He doesn't say anything. His my enemies cut out his tongue because he went, "Moo!" Go ahead, do this. You can't do it. I was Caesar, but it's funny. You can't do it. I just found that really funny. Yeah, his impersonation of Marlon Brando doing The Godfather was just absolutely hilarious. I loved it. As much as I didn't really like the movie, The Godfather movies, I definitely the spoof was great. So now we have Maid Marian was in the castle and she overheard it all. So she's like, we gotta wakes up her and she goes, something stinky's a foot. She said something about a foot. Smells of I forget the term. Can't think of it. But anyways, he's like, oh me, I be no. Robin's in trouble. They're plotting to kill him. Blah blah. And like we must warn him. So then they go onto the balcony out the back, and she jumps down to and our horse catches her and she's off and she's like, I'll ride ahead of you, and the big heavy woman goes over to jump onto the horse. The horse looks at the camera and says, you gotta be kidding me. She jumps down just as she's about to land, and the horse moves out of the way, step out of the way,
But now,
and then kapow! And and she stands up and she goes, I would not do that again if I was you. You got that? And the horse nods at her, and then she gets on and rides off. Yeah, I don't blame the horse. I don't know what the hell they could possibly do to him.
did you see
I
the
think
horse
even
head
Brenda
butted her
Blue would have been
also?
better than that.
Did you catch that? The horse head butted her.
And then they go they run into the forest, and Maid Marian gets helped down by Robin Hood, and then Little John offers to help her, and then of course he goes to pick her up and falls over with her on top, and she's like, is there anything I can do for you? And he's just like, yeah, get off me. And everyone's like, oh, like, and she's all like, well, fine, He's like, I panicked. Still didn't panic as much as he did when he thought he was drowning, but so she gets off him, and then they have married time, and then they almost kiss again and get interrupted by her, and then we have the scene where he's singing to her that he loves her, and they're behind this blankets where everyone can see it, and it looks like he's getting a hot on for her, and they're gonna do stuff, and you can definitely tell it's a source, but it's definitely funny the way they did it, and all of a sudden then they take it away and they see them all with clothes on, and they're like, "Ah, we thought like they thought they were having sex," and he just like, what? Yeah, I love it when they're finally about to kiss, and she's like, "You can only have a kiss. For I am a virgin, and I can't not give it until I'm married, or in love, unless you give my undying love, or you're cute, or if I just want you." What a hoe! What a hoe! But she has the
And what you
Everlast
guys think of that chastity
chastity belt.
belt that she had on, eh?
Everlast, if you don't know, is was they do locks for us, and they're supposed to be like the best kind of locks. You can't get around them. So that was a little reference you probably didn't get. Why when it said Everlast on the chastity belt. So just to let you know, that's what Everlast is.
Well,
But
I did hear of chastity belts before, if that's what you are
no, I'm saying
saying.
that the fact that it said Everlast on the chastity belt. I don't know if you noticed that. It said Everlast. Everlast is
Ah,
one of locks that were supposed to be like unbreakable. Like they were supposed to be like the best locks in the world. So
ah,
so that's
okay,
why
yeah.
it's like they were making a big deal out of not only does she have a chastity belt, but like no one's gonna be able to pick it or break the lock because it's an Everlast. Everlast meaning the name, like it doesn't corrode or break, whatever. So yeah. So yeah, and he goes to kiss her, and of course, he all hot and bothered, and goes boom, and gets his weenie whacked because he hits the chastity belt with his heart on. And then they ride off, and he's I forget what the hell he says after. Says a couple of funny lines, three things he says. I can't remember what he says, but anyways, then now we have Rottingham telling Prince John the bad news that Robin Hood is stealing from the rich people and giving it to the poor and offending them even more and blah blah blah. And then we have Mel Brooks scene coming in as the Jewish um, minister dude, rabbi, and he's says the purveyor of circumcision. Is like, what's that? He's like, oh, it's something all ladies love, which actually is true. Is a true fact. I mean, from what I've heard from women, I know one woman that was with one guy that was not circumcised, and she said it was really fucking weird.
uh,
I don't know. I guess it started out a Jewish thing, but it ended up becoming common practice for boys to get their weenie circumcised when they're born. Like we don't even get a choice on it, you know. Uh, yeah. So I don't know why they cut the foreskin off. No fucking clue. But yeah. So it's strange this day and age to find someone that isn't. But anyway, so he's talking to these grown men who obviously weren't circumcised as a baby, and he's like, "Oh, the woman, oh, I'll take it. I'll take two." And then he goes, "Oh, it's easy. You can take this, the little machine. You take your little thing, you put it in here, and cut the hell." And they're like, "Oh," and like they could feel it in their nuts, just like watching that, and then they're all like, never mind. After he's like, who's purpose? He's like, oh, I gotta get a younger crowd, which is because now they do babies who can't protest or protect themselves, poor little babies. So and then they're like, share us your white wisdom, share us your story. Well, I think it was stories or something with us, and share your wine. And all of them like, yeah. They're like, oh, the wisdom and the story I can definitely tell, but the wine, this is only the blessed things. And they're like, oh. He's like, wait a minute, there's things here, there's trees, there's rocks, there's grass. We'll left everything into we're all stickered. and they start taking the wine down. I think they only take down two casks, which they're not that many people. Those casks are pretty big, so I'd say two casks would probably get them pretty drunk. Yeah. So yeah, it's not like he had to use all his wine for them. And so they they drink that, and then what's this? I guess the archery contest is next, and all of a sudden you see this old man, and you can tell, yeah, that's definitely Robin Hood in disguise, and even the moron Ronningham could tell it was him. The moron prince couldn't. And then, of course, we have all the merry men. Oh, wait, I forgot one of the best scenes. When they all started singing and dancing, we have manly men in tights. Tights. And every time they do that and they talk about fighting, Blinken punches someone out, and he's always moving around and hitting different people. He hits little John, who felt it, but, didn't, like, fall over or anything like the rest of them did. Because for a blind man, he hits pretty hard, I guess. But yeah, so that's one of the best scenes in the movie. So anyway, so now we're at the archery scene, and
One little note, if you pay attention to John, his mole, John, Prince John.
The Prince
What about him?
His mole
moves every time you see him.
Oh yeah, that was an earlier scene. Yeah, he's like, wasn't that mole? And I said, I have a mole.
But and then especially every scene after that, every time you see him, it's in a different spot.
You know, I didn't notice that this time, but I know I've noticed that before, and I remember people talking about that before. Yeah. It's been a long time since I saw it last, so yeah. But so we're at the so they all say get ready, and oh, we just did. Okay, let me say one thing before we get to this. We actually forgot something in the beginning of the movie. They all have arrows with fire, and they shoot them in the air, and they start burning this village. And one of the villagers comes up and says, "Oh, damn it! Every time they film a new Robin Hood movie, our village gets burned down." Because especially for things in a lot of Robin Hood movies, they're burning down this village. So that was just like a little funny thing there. So I just wanted to mention that real quick because that was pretty funny. So anyways, so they all fire, and the two that hit the bullseye can stay. Everyone else bugger off. So everyone else leaves. Is pointed, and of course it's the mysterious old man, and the dude who won all the archery trophies from Jersey. Yeah. So they go getting in. So they Robin can go first. So he shoots it in. Perfect bullseye right in the middle. Everyone's cheering, and the prince's like, "Good job for doing archery." He's got now all the people love him even more because he won, and he's like, "Oh, but our guy hasn't gone yet." But he finally got this, and he's like, "Watch!" And he goes up, and sure enough, he splits Robin's arrow in two. Who it just starts looking amazed and astonishment, like, what just happened? I lost, and everyone starts booing Robin and cheering the bad guy, and he's just like, I lost. I'm not supposed to lose. And then he pulls out the script, because that's normal. And he's looking at it, he's like, I get another shot. And he says that, and the prince and the sheriff look, and they pull out their scripts, and they're flipping through, and they're like, oh yeah, he does get another shot, yeah. And so they're kind of dismayed that he gets another shot. And evidently the bad guy did not get another shot, because only Robin got another shot. So of course he pulls out the Patriot arrow, which okay, so we have a thing called a Patriot missile, Boris. It's a missile. It's supposed to be like a missile against our enemies. So it's like Patriot as in Massachusetts, England. We're patriots. That's what America is supposed to be patriots. So when it's called a Patriot missile, it's like the USA's missile against their enemies. So when he had the arrow that said Patriot arrow, that's what it was spoofing, the real life Patriot missile.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
I took reading, and that's why I told you. Like I said, most of the movie, doesn't have the references, but there's a couple spots. So he shoots it, and the other guy hits his knee, so the arrow goes flying up in the air. Well, it's a missile with the Patriot missile actually is just like that. It's like a homing, has like a home beginning. It can't miss basically. It's gonna blow up on its target. But it goes off target and it goes underneath all the benches and all the people start standing up like they're doing the wave, which at that time was extremely popular thing to do at events and sporting events and stuff, doing the wave concerts and stuff. So everyone's doing the wave because the arrow is shooting underneath them. Even the prince and the sheriff and everything all did the wave and everything and all the way through. And then of course it shoots up in the air and then goes down and blows right in the middle and blows not only the other arrow out but the whole entire bullseye. Has a big hole in it now, and like Robin won. He's like, but that man, he is Robin of Loxley, and he takes off the stuff and he's like, it is me, and then he's like, arrest him, and they easily catch him this time. Even the last time he kicked the shit out of all the guards and everything, but this time he didn't even give up a fight. I don't know why, but yeah. So anyways, they get him in and they're gonna kill him and made me just stop and he's like why? And he's like, I will do the most grotesque thing I could possibly imagine. What's that? I'll marry you. You'll marry me if I spare him? Yes. You'll let me you'll sex with me every night and sometimes after lunch? Yes, yes. You can have my body, but just know this: you'll never have my heart. You'll never have my soul. You'll never have. Oh, okay. Typical guy. Doesn't care about all that stuff. Just cares about the sex. So, and okay, that's fine. I respect that. And then, but of course, we have the hangman, and the prince was like, "Don't worry, you don't have a wedding today or hanging, but either way, it'll be a fun event." And yeah, so we have Robin. This guy's like, "Oh, are you look like a 15 or a 16?" He's like, "It's kind of tight." Well, that's kind of the point. So, and of course, she shows up. It's like, "What's this?" Like, just in case you change your mind about marrying me, you don't marry me, he's gonna die. And so they have the rabbi dude back, and they're like gonna do the wedding, and he just like skip all that stuff, and they're like, okay, blah blah blah, to you, and then she's like, he's like, yes, yes, to you, and she's like, I do, and then she sees the merryman, she's a shoots the rope, releasing Robin, and they all escape. She goes, I do not, and they all break out, and all hell breaks loose, and the merryman and Robin start beating everyone, and they all jump up, and the guards go flying past them and landing on the pikes, and they can't get off them, and they're laughing at them, and when they all jumped, Blinken fell down and couldn't get up because he was behind and couldn't see. Yeah, and then and we have they're in the tower together. Oh no, I'm sorry. The sheriff grabs her and says, "Marriage or not, I'm going to have you." And he runs off with her over his shoulder. Her, great yelling, and Robin's busy fighting, and he goes up in the tower. And then when the man says, "He has your woman up in the tower. He's going to defile her in the tower," and he locks the door and drops her in, and then he gets on top of her, and then he notices the everlasting. He's like, chastity belt, and this is another hilarious freaking scene. So next, obviously, you see her moving like he's like really jamming her, which he is with an actual drill. He's really drilling her with a drill. Which was, like I said, absolutely hilarious. And of course, Robin busts in, and and he's like, I challenge you, and he's like, oh, first I'll dispatch your lover, and then I'll come back to finish the deed, and she's still kind of shivering a little bit from the shock waves, and they start fighting, and she's watching in amazement of the fight, and of course, in the end, of course, Robin wins, stabs the sheriff, and the witch comes in just as he stabs, dying. And he's like, oh, how do you feel? He's like, I just been stabbed and dying, you stupid, whatever. You know. So, yeah. Hold on a second. Go ahead and someone else talk for a second.
Go ahead, Boris. Bring us forward. Where are we?
So we are at the scene when Robin is fighting this sheriff who has just kidnapped Marion, and so yeah, they have a sword fight, which was kind of a badass moment, even though this is mostly just comedy.
Yeah, because in the whole fight, the key ends up like flying into her chastity belt, and which is kind of funny. In the end, the key doesn't work, so they have to actually call a locksmith. But that being said,
oh yeah, that was that was really
the fight. We don't exactly expect Robin Hood to accidentally kill the sheriff, do we? And then of
no,
course,
but
coming in at a moment, and she's like, "I can save you, but only on condition that you marry me." And we
oh. Oh yeah, that was amazing. I was like, that must be a punishment worse than death for him.
a fitting moment, that's for sure.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said a fitting moment, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
But in any case. What did you like anything here from the fight scene, Tammy?
I thought it was comical, you know. So
Okay. Okay, bring us home, Boris. What do you think about what happened next?
So yeah, the sheriff is dragged away by Latrine, which, like I said, is a really hilarious moment. I loved that. And even though it was kind of terrifying for the sheriff, at the same time, I was kind of glad that she got what she wanted.
Yeah, it was hilarious, but again, like I said, I almost felt bad for him. I love the life saving thing that she gives him. Again, I don't know if you noticed this, Boris, or anyone else notices. It was a lifesaver, candy.
Well, she did say it was a magical pill.
Oh, she said it was a magical life-saving pill. It was the candy lifesaver.
Sorry, what's the difference?
There's candy called lifesavers. That comes in different colors and stuff. So she was actually using a white lifesaver in like that was the prop they used for that was a lifesaver. Obviously, that was a spoof because it's called lifesaver and she's saving his life. Actually, always the real candy isn't going to save someone's life. Probably more, one less they having a low blood sugar, but that's not the point.
I didn't know there was a candy with that name.
That's why I'm telling you. I don't
Yep.
like I said, I don't know. I don't know if the other two caught
It's
it.
huge. It's
But
huge
I
here in
figured-
the States. It's a suckable candy. I think it's in menthol. It's in gummies.
No, not well. The white one is, but the other ones come in great cherry flavors and lime and lemon and all great flavors. I love I used to love lifesavers. When I was young, I used to always get one in my stocking from Santa Claus.
Yeah.
You used to get the storybook. It used to be this it looked like a book, but you open it up and there's 5 big rolls of lifesavers on this left side and on the other side, and that told like a little Christmas story in it. And the lifesavers, that would last me a couple weeks. Any normal kid would probably last a lot longer, but I wasn't a normal kid. I ate a lot of junk food. To be fair, my mother probably not that my mother let me. It's just I was watching my sister. My mother was working a lot, so yeah, I kind of did what I wanted.
Yeah.
Because she couldn't afford to have a babysitter, another babysitter. But yeah. Anywho, so yeah, so we got that NC. Now we have they're like about to kiss, and she walks in and she's like, please, she's like, you got to go through it. You got to get married. You got to go through it before you do it. or my job, or I have blew it.
Or I blew it. Yep.
And they just look at each other and shrug like, okay, fine, we'll get married first. And then you see them and they find the rabbi and they're like, we need to get married quick. They're like, oh, quick. All right. And he starts doing it. This is my favorite part. And then the king comes in and says, I object. And he's like, who asked? The rabbi's like, who asked you? Like, he never even said it like anyone object. He's like, oh, I am the king. And he does all this. He knights Robin, and the Robin's like, hey, if you love this guy, why'd you object to the wedding? He's like, because I had not kissed the bride, and as king, it's my right. And that's when Mel Brooks looks with the screen at the camera and says, "It's good to be the king," like he did in History of the World. We watched 2 weeks ago. So yeah, that was a funny scene. So he bends her over, gives this big, huge kiss, and then they go and marry her, and then Robin gets to actually kiss her, gets to sloppy seconds. And actually, I don't know if anyone knew this, not only does the king actually the king or his lords can actually have sex with the bride on the wedding night before the groom does. This was a law.
Okay, no,
This was a law.
No, that's.
That was in Braveheart, actually.
Yes, it was in Braveheart. That's what the whole Braveheart was
That was brought up
about.
in the movie Braveheart.
Was they were gonna rape his wife, and he fought back, and that's how she ended up getting killed. And the whole plot of the movie was based around that. So that was actually a true story. That was based on a true story. Another little fact that's related. Originally, people could not have sex at all if they weren't married. Like it was against the law unless they had permission from the king, and it was called for unlawful carnal knowledge. Fuck. So this is where fuck came from. If you never knew what fuck came from, this is where it came from. For unlawful carnal knowledge, it was actually a law forbidding. It was illegal to have sex for 2 people to have sex if they were not married. Of course, this law was broken all the time. It's like little known facts. States to this day, some states have a written law that oral sex and other things is illegal. Again,
and how
exactly.
did
How can they? Unless the people are actually having sex like outside, which again, that's illegal in itself. If someone is actually spying on them to tell on them, whatever, that's against the law. So it's one of those blue laws that obviously don't get enforced, and there's probably not any way to really enforce it. And who would actually, anyways? But it is on the law books. The more you know, guys. I'm all full of those today. And I know Tammy knows what I'm doing when I do that. I don't know if you do, Boris, or even Dave, but they used to be after school specials, and they always told a story and then tell you like true facts after the story, and they would come up with this. It would be ring ring with this rainbow would come across, and it would say the more you know and go ding. So that's why I'm going the more you know, ding.
I didn't know
I
that.
actually do
I
that.
remember that stuff too.
I knew you did. I knew Tammy did. I sometimes in my video, I was making some YouTube videos, and I would do at the end of my videos, I would say something, and then I put the more you know, and I have a GIF going across my video, the rainbow GIF. I didn't say the ding part, but I did say the more you know, rainbow would go across. So little thing I did on my videos that some people might have appreciated, and some people probably had no fucking clue. Like this day and age, going to an 18-year-old and handing them a rotary phone and say, hey, you know what this is and you know how to use it. Most of them have no fucking clue what it is. Yeah. So I guess this is the end of our journey, and I know I kind of took over, but since Dave doesn't really love the film that much, I figured, instead of Dave, I mean, you didn't. I know you have trouble doing it your first time watching a movie. So Dave was trying to help you, but I figured since Dave doesn't love the movie, I'll just take over because I love the movie. Of course, I did forget to stop and ask what people thought about the scenes. So because we decided we were going to do that, but I kind of forgot and went back to the old way when we just kind of telling everybody. So sorry about that. Kind of went off, but love the movie. So hey, but hey, at least we got through it quick. But I guess we'll do production. I'll let you decide who you want first, Boris.
Okay. Okay, Crow, you can do it first.
Oh, finally! I get to talk. Jeez. Yeah, I know I have a sense of humor, guys. If I had any sense to leave my humor home, but I don't. Anyway, yeah, I thought the production was great. I mean, it's a spoof, so obviously, like when they had the Nike. We never mentioned the part when he's getting beat up and they're about to fight again. He's like, hold the fight, time out. And he's like, I know, pump up, and he pumps up the Nikes. That's another reference. There was actually sneakers, that had the little thing on it that you pushed on, and you pumped up the sneakers. Supposedly it would inflate the sneakers so it was more comfortable. And Nike was like, oh, athletes can jump super high, like they show basketball players jumping up and slam dunking because they're wearing the Nike Air and the Nike pumps. Supposedly the pumps would be able to make you jump up to the hoop because wearing them, obviously, that was just an ad, that wasn't real. But they that's where that came from. If you were wondering, Boris, why he had like sneakers and he was pumping it up in that scene, that's what it's from. Another
yeah, I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, another pop culture thing they had in this movie, which they like to do pop culture in Mel Brooks movies. Anyways, so the production I thought was just for its time, 90s, was great. I mean, it looked like it was supposed to look in a spoof of a movie that was supposed to spoof. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, any inaccuracies, well, you can count to the fact that it's a spoof, and they could just say, well, it was meant to do that. So, so I can't think of anything that was out of place that I wouldn't think that was meant to be out of place. I don't know if Dave or Tammy caught anything, but I personally did not, or you, Boris. But I thought the production was really good for the time. Everyone looked good, and they all looked in their tights. And I thought, another scene where you didn't mention when they're all in their dressing, like, we need to get out of these women's clothes and get into our tights. Which is always there's a joke that only women wear tights, except for the gay dancers who wear tights. They always say they're gay dancers because they're not wearing tights. Not saying they actually are, but that's what people always said. Especially in
yeah.
the 80s, because 80s was full of homophobes, and it wasn't like this day and age where it's accepted. It actually was very much unaccepted then.
Well, yeah, nowadays I think it's not even that unheard of
Not
for
only is
men
it
to wear tights.
accepted, but they actually push it upon kids. Like some kids actually think there's something wrong with them if they're not gay or flamboyant or
Ah,
wearing stuff, which pisses me off because if a person, if a boy is going to go that way, fine, or a girl is going to go that way, fine, whatever. Let them choose when they're an adult. Okay, when they're in school, maybe a teenager, like older teenager, maybe let them decide,
uh,
maybe. But anything younger than 15 or 16 years old, in my opinion, is the fucking parents' job to shut that shit down. Okay, you're a boy,
uh,
and you're gonna be a fucking boy. And if they want to change when they're older, that's their decision. And not to get political on people, but since we brought it up, since I brought it
uh,
up because it's in the movie, I had to mention it, my personal opinion upon it. I have no problem with people do what the hell they want, okay? But kids are kids, and when you're supposed to teach your kids, okay? They're imitating what they see, so they're starting to do all that stuff not because they think they're gay or they're flamboyant or anything. Most of the time it's because of peer pressure, the opposite of the way it used to be. Now they're like being pressured not to be a normal, or yeah, maybe I shouldn't say normal, heterosexual person. It's like sometimes I watch movies and I see a man and a woman kiss, and I'm like, wow, amazing. Especially with TV shows. Movies not quite as much,
uh,
but especially a lot of newer TV shows, it's rarer to see a man and a woman getting together.
Uh, yeah, like
You know.
what you said about what they teach kids over there these days. Yeah, so when they do that, for example, let's say if some boy finds himself liking dresses or something, he will immediately think,
Yeah,
hey, if I
some
like
boy named
women's.
Boris, and now we get an adult Boris who wears. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Did I call you
Uh,
out?
uh, okay, those are your words, not mine. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
was.
all know your addresses. We got proof.
I'm not sure you have proof.
I do. You sent it to me from my blog. Remember? Blackmail you, buddy. I got proof. But anyways, yeah. So I just, like I said, I just think it's parents not parenting. Honestly, I see on YouTube. Oh, my son who's dressing like a woman was bullied and this and that, and they're okay. Now bullying is bad no matter what. Okay, I'll definitely say bullying is bad, but
Yes.
he should not be in a situation where he's acting like a girl when he's 8 or 9 years old, and the parent shouldn't be behind this. Like, he's 8 or 9, he's not old enough to make that decision. This is an adult decision, in my opinion. And maybe 16 or 17 because you're close enough. Maybe.
Mm,
Again, that could be up to debate. Okay, because it's not like there's a
uh,
law on it. But I think
yeah, but
anything younger than that, you're still developing your own mind, and you're just gonna copy what you see around. And if you're seeing that around in all the TV shows and movies, all the kids start imitating it. They think that's what they should be, and instead of being a regular heterosexual person, which the kid may not be, but might be, they get pushed into something that they're not. And it's just like all the gay kids in like the 80s had to hide who they were or whatever because so it's the same thing only in
uh,
reverse. And it's like nobody, so many people don't see the problem with it, that it's just the same thing as the gay thing only in reverse. But they don't think of it that way. They don't look at it that way, except for like me and some other smart people,
uh,
that It's the same. It's the same freaking thing. You're pushing these kids into going against what they are because they don't want. Kids want to fit in. Nobody wants to be that kid that doesn't fit in. That's weird. And I mean, okay, I always said I was weird because I didn't care, but it's still okay. I wanted to fit in somewhat, even though I consider myself weird all the time. Still wanted to kind of fit in. And no one really wants to be that kid that doesn't fit in and be that outcast, so they always want to do stuff that other kids are doing, so the kids imitate what the kids going to imitate, their celebrities and the people they look up to and things like that, and all these celebrities are doing all this stuff in the gay movie. And again, I have no problem with the gay movie and all that, but it gets pushed so much with media, and it gets over pushed by the media, and Disney is one of the worst to do it.
Don't even get me started on Disney's bullshit and Netflix too.
Exactly. With all their gender swapping and other things they're doing, yeah. I mean, I've talked about this on this podcast and the other one many times about gender swapping and other things, and sometimes it'll work. Okay, not saying that it can't be done. I mean, how originally all plays were men. Women were not actors. It was only men. So men would play women's parts, and men would play men's parts in plays. That's the way it was done in Shakespearean time. I don't know if you knew that. Another more Yeah. Women were not actors.
I didn't know that.
Nope, it was only men. Can you imagine?
And a lot of women.
Romeo and Juliet was actually two dudes.
And actually, as things progressed, a lot of women were forced to do male parts as women.
Well, that was later on.
Acting.
That was later on, but like in Shakespearean time, women didn't work at all. Women stayed at home, making babies and watching the house.
Right, and then when they did start getting into it, they still didn't want them in it, so they wouldn't even let them play a women's part. I
actually did not know that. So they let women start acting, but they made them play men, and still had the men play the women. That's kind of funny. I mean, okay, so I get the fact that, like, okay, with plays, I think it's different. Like if they have like Sandy Duncan played Peter Pan for years, obviously a woman, okay, but for years she played Peter Pan. Nobody thought two things about it. I didn't care about it, but it was a play. Plays are different. Like it doesn't really matter who's playing, okay. But to me, movies, unless it's a spoof, movies are generally they try to stick to the book or the comic or whatever it's telling the story of, right?
I've always thought it was the opposite. Filmmakers try not to make it their own.
Some filmmakers try to make it their own, but certain things they don't switch. You know what I'm saying? In general rule, obviously they switched in Battlestar Galactica. And at first, I would not watch the reimagined Battlestar Galactica because they made my favorite character, Buck, a woman. Not that I have any problem with women. I love women, but he's my favorite character, and he doesn't have tits and a pussy. He has a dick, man. Okay, so I wouldn't watch the show. I finally ended up watching and loved it. Absolutely loved it. Probably better than the original, but I would not watch it first because of that. Another example I always give, where I don't think this was done before. They had this thing where they just swap a character out for a different race than they're supposed to be. Nick Fury. Okay, Samuel Jackson owned that role. He owned that role so much they went in the comics and changed his character in the comics.
Samuel Jackson owns every role he
yeah. He owned that because he's Samuel fucking L. Jackson, okay? he is a badass motherfucker, like it says in Pulp Fiction, okay? Samuel L. Jackson is awesome. He owned that role. He owned the role so much that they went and changed the original comic book. They changed the comic book, making Nick Fury a black guy instead of the original white guy that he was. So David Hasselhoff
See
played
the
the
Hawk
original.
as Nick Fury.
Yeah, was the original Nick Fury. Or Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury in my eyes, 100%. That's him. He's Nick Fury. Now, again, if it was Captain America, original Steve Rogers Captain America, I would have an issue with that. But where it was an important character but not a main character, I don't really have as much of an issue with. And again, he
Well,
owned the role. But
well, for example, in this relatively old Catwoman movie with Holly Berry, so in that movie they made Catwoman black, and she had not been black before.
actually, you're wrong. There was a black Catwoman in the TV series. Short-lived, but I think there was 4 or 5 actresses that played Catwoman, and one of them was a black woman.
Okay, I didn't know that. But
now in the comics, she was white, but they had actually done that, and this was in the 50s, I think, that 60s that TV show came out. So yeah, so this was definitely not. I think Catwoman, even though she was a villain and a big villain in the Batman in the TV show, she wasn't as big, and she was more of just a guest star villain of the week. So I think it was all right the way they did that. And Halle Berry looks so goddamn gorgeous in that suit. And again,
oh yeah.
Now if it was the Joker, again, I think Catwoman was important, but she's not like Batman's main villain. She's not the Joker, not Two-Face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is, in that case, they made Catwoman black because simply because
they didn't do that then. When they made that Catwoman movie, that was not done. Like they didn't do that gender the skin swap as much. Like it was not really. I mean, okay, occasionally it was done here and there, but not really much then. As later time.
At that time they were doing it because the actress was good.
Yeah,
nowadays they do it for.
That movie kind of bombed and wasn't that great, but I still.
Nowadays they do it because people outcry about diversity.
Right, stupidity. Not because the actor deserves the role, but I'm not saying that they don't have good actors sometimes playing these roles, but they purposely look for actors that don't fit the character to appease a bunch of fucking middle-aged white women that have nothing better to do than to complain about things. Because you know what? It's not black people wanting it. It's not Chinese people wanting it. It's not these races that want this shit done. It's fucking middle-aged white women that have nothing better to do. All these Karens. That's who's complaining. It's stupidity, Black people say the same thing as white people, and everyone else say. Why don't you have you use a superhero that's already black or Puerto Rican or whatever, or if you have to make up a new one if you're not going to use one or whatever. Why give them their hero being someone that's already a hero to other kids? Like that whole Disney thing about Ariel. Oh, these black girls need a hero to look up to. I agree. But you're telling me that there's nobody else? Oh, wait, we have Naomi, the black girl that was a humongous Superman fan, ended up getting superpowers, which was a TV show for a short time. It didn't last, but she's a black girl that ended up getting superpowers. And they find out she finds out that she's actually not from Earth, or that Earth. She's from a different Earth, a parallel Earth where they have superpowers. And that was going to be a good show. I really enjoyed that. Can't use her? Okay. There's plenty of black women, or black men that are heroes or superheroes that they could use. Or again, they can make up a new character that's a superhero.
But yeah, they should if they want.
So I 100% agree that black kids should have a hero to look up to. White kids should, Puerto Rican kids, all the races should have someone to look up to. I agree with that.
Yeah,
but I don't agree with taking a well-known character, Ariel, a very, very white, red-haired character, character and completely turning her completely different for the live action. You know, I completely, you know, I mean, I've actually only seen parts of The Little Mermaid. I was an adult and just not really into Little Mermaid when that came out. So I never really saw all of it, but I know who the hell Ariel is. Okay. For a cartoon character, Ariel is hot. I love Red so, you know. But that doesn't have anything to do with my complaint. She could have been blonde or brunette or whatever, and I still would have that complaint. I kind of had that complaint a little bit in Titans when they made Starfire. Starfire had long orange hair. She was orange skin and had fiery orange and red hair, and she looked like a supermodel. And they got a shorter, heavyset black woman to play Starfire. Now she ended up being a really good actress, and I kind of fell in love with the actress, so I got over it. And again, Starfire, I didn't even really know her from DC Comics at all, so she's kind of one of those like C characters. So it wasn't like it was Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman or anything major. So it wasn't that big a deal. And like I said, the actress deserved the role. She was really good. But they couldn't possibly get someone that looked more different. Obviously, there's no orange-skinned people. Obviously. You know, she was an alien from a different planet. That's why she was orange skin. Obviously not. But they got they got the color that was the furthest away from the orange they could. The hair, they gave her like orange kind of hair through her black hair, but it just you know, and like I said, she was heavy too. And the other one was like a model, you know, and again, not saying anything about who more beautiful, the thinner or the heavy one, or whatever. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying, like, as far as the character goes, she was the complete opposite. When I saw the trailer for it, I'm like, the fuck? Because I looked up who Starfire was when I heard about the show. Because I'm like, Starfire, who's that? And I looked up, I'm like, oh, and I started reading. I got really interested. Then I saw this trailer. I'm like, the fuck? I ain't Starfire. Yeah. So yeah, it's just and you could tell they purposely looked for someone that looked completely the opposite of how the character was supposed to look, and just to appease people. Now, to their credit, or maybe it was accident, I don't know, but they actually got someone who was really good at the role and really deserved to be in that role. The actress was really good. She won me over. So I chose to ignore the fact that the you know the cast or the people that cast the movie the TV show were idiots. Yeah. Because she owned it. It's like Samuel Jackson on the other role, you know. But another one, okay, Kristen Crook. I love her. Love her. Okay, I guess she's half Oriental. She doesn't really look Oriental at all. I think her eyes slightly, you can tell. Slightly. Okay. They had her play Chun-Li. A very, very, very Chinese character from Street Fighter. Played not in a part in the movie, the title role. Like, it was a Chun-Li movie, which is my favorite one of my favorite characters in Street Fighter. I love Street Fighter 2 growing up. And I was so like, wow, Chun-Li. But when I heard Kristen Crook, I love Kristen Crook from playing Lana Lang in Smallville, and then in Beauty and the Beast and some other roles she's done. I love her. She's a great actress. She's beautiful. But she's not fucking Chun-Li. And she was not good in that fucking role. She's a good actress, but she was just, that was definitely not her role. Why was she cast? Were they out of Chinese people? 1 billion Chinese people, and they were out of them? There was no Chinese actresses around. I made Lucy Liu, which, you know, not to stereocast, because, you know, I can't think of too many at the top of my head names, but she's obviously very popular. She obviously was a little too old to play Chun-Li, a young Chun-Li. But just saying, there was plenty. I couldn't name them off the top of my head. I just don't know their names. But I know there are plenty of female actresses, Chinese, or whatever that could have played Chun-Li. Okay, and the movie would have been so much better. Not saying the original Street Fighter. The original Street Fighter was even worse. They had Jean-Claude Van Damme playing Guile. I love Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'm a huge Jean-Claude Van Damme movie fan. Jean-Claude Van Damme should not have been fucking playing Guile at all. That was not his role at all. He is a good actor when he can play a French Canadian, which is what he is. He is not good at changing his voice. He is not good at being an American if just being like a typical American with the American accent and not any other kind of accent type of American, which is what Guile was. Guile was a U.S. military guy that was 100% that all-American guy, blonde hair, blue eyes, spoke English, American English, and with no accent at all. They had Jean-Claude Van Damme playing him. Like, really? Worst possible casting ever. And I love Jean-Claude Van Damme. But that movie sucked. And I loved the game, but that movie was just fucking horrible. Now, the Chun-Li they had there at least was Chinese, and she wasn't too bad. And she wasn't great, but she wasn't too bad. Yokozuna, in wrestling. I can't think of his freaking name, the big heavy guy that was our cameraman, his character in Super Street Fighter 2. He was actually a good choice. The one who did Blanca was a pretty good choice. Now, the best person in that movie was Bison. Now, again, I don't need to like villains, but man, what the heck's his name? He passed away now too. The one that he originally played in Addams Family movie as Gomez. He was Bison.
Oh,
He just absolutely killed that role. He was so awesome. Like, he was so great as Bison in that movie. He's almost saved the movie. Nobody could save the movie, but if there was an enjoyable part of that movie, it was him. So, kudos to that actor, rest in peace, which unfortunately I can't think about the top of the moment. Dave's not paying attention to tell me who it is.
I am paying attention.
Then who is it?
I was trying to think of it, but I just can't think of it. See,
How about you, Tammy?
Claude Van Damme, but he gets into the stances a lot, right, Tammy?
I love Van Damme. Have you watched that TV show on Amazon?
I'm not real into Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'm not into karate movies.
Jean-Claude Van Damme has a TV show called something Van Damme. I can't think of his first name. Basically, he's spoofing himself that he's really a spy that pretended to be an actor. So all those times that he was doing those movies, he was really a spy for the U.S. government, pretending to be an actor. And the first episode, know how he used to do these splits, and every guy would watch him and go, "Ow!" Just watching him do these splits. Well, he goes to do a split, and he just goes like partially down, and he like almost gets a hernia because he's really old and can't do that anymore. And I just cracked up laughing because he was making fun of himself. Like, Van Damme was so fucking full of himself, so full of himself. That's why when the Expendables came out, he was asked to be in the Expendables 1 and 2. He refused. He thought they were like kind of making fun of him, and he was such a big star that he didn't want to share the glory with all these other superstars. Like he would do it with like one other actor here and there or whatever for a movie, but he wouldn't want to be in there with all these other actors and everything. And so, that's why I know me and a lot of people were like, "Oh, they should have Van Damme in it." And then we found out that, they tried. Sylvester Stallone tried to get Van Damme, and he refused. I think he's finally in 3 or 4. He finally realized that he needed money and he needed to swallow his fucking pride and got into it. But yeah, that kind of pissed me off. You know, when actors and actresses are so full of them. So like, okay, I really love Scarlett Jens
Johansson.
Johansson. Thank you. I really love her.
Oh,
She's gorgeous. I love her acting, but her whole thing against Disney, where she was saying, "Oh, they're exploiting my sex," and okay, first of all, it's Disney. Okay, she was in a skin tight outfit. That was it. Not really showing any fucking thing, and this is her big fucking complaint. Okay, I basically said, me and Lauren got in a fight about this because for some reason he thought it was stupid the way I said it, but I basically said she should shut up and just do her job. And I did say that. And I mean it. Because not because women should be exploited. They shouldn't. Was she being exploited? No. No. She was not being fucking exploited. She knows she's gorgeous. She knows sometimes she gets roles because she's gorgeous. Okay? Is that right? Maybe not. Okay? But she knows she doesn't have any fucking problem cashing these fucking checks. Okay? Her issue was that Disney had it in contract that it would only be in theaters because actors, as part of her contract, besides the money she got, royalties for the movie when it was played in the theaters. Because of COVID, they put it on Disney Plus, even though they had put it in the contract that it would only be in theaters.
yeah, like
So,
if she
so
had,
that part of the story, I could see why she had a complaint. Disney should have turned around and gave her a portion of Disney Plus. Like they should have compensated her for what they turned around and did. Now, again, it was kind of beyond their control about COVID, but they decided to put that on Disney Plus, which I was glad for. I actually bought it on Disney Plus. I own the movie on Disney Plus. Okay, so even if I don't have Disney Plus, I can still watch that movie because I own it. But so I agree that she should have been, but then because she wanted to get at Disney, she decided to pull the whole, oh, I'm a sexual target, I'm a victim, blah, blah, blah. She tried to play the victim role. And that's when I got pissed off and was, I don't know what the hell got up Mo's ass at that time, but you know how he is, and me and him fight. We've seen it live, unfortunately, or well, people out there may not have, unless they're watching it live, but after it was edited, might not have seen it. But yeah, so unfortunately, you guys seen this. But yeah, we got in a fight about that. Later, he apologized. But yeah, I mean, okay, so I might have said it a little bit insensitive. Okay, so I was, because I straight up said she should shut up and go back to work. But again, I'm not saying that that goes to all women. Like we know, like she was not exploited. She was in a fucking Disney film. Okay,
yeah, like
Disney do not show skin. Like Disney does not. I mean, okay, they showed her in a skin tight outfit.
If she didn't like it, couldn't she have just said no to the role?
Exactly. Why did she not say no? Because she was getting paid a lot of money. But when she had an issue with the money, all of a sudden it came, oh, she's being exploited. Yes, it was bullshit. Should she have gotten compensated? Yes. Was she exploited? No. So I agree with one part of her argument, but the other part, she was being bullshit. She just like that female Ghostbuster movie where people were like, I'm not gonna go see it. Like I don't want to see it. It doesn't look good to me. I love the original Ghostbusters. I don't like this reimagined. And all of a sudden they came out with, oh, you're a sexist. You don't like women. Like it was a podcast dude that came up with this. They were slamming him all over the place and calling him a sexist and all this other stuff because he said he didn't want to see the new Ghostbusters movie with the women. Okay. Now at the time I actually wanted to see it, but because of all the controversy, some people went to go see it because of the controversy. I was the opposite. I refused to watch it until a while longer when after it kind of died down and people forgot about it.
I was okay with it.
I thought it was all right. There was some scenes I thought was funny. I thought the black woman when she said, "I'm mad," I don't know if it's because I'm a woman or black. I thought that was like stupidest line in the world, and I was just like, that was like a racist and sexist remark right there.
I
That
honestly
she says
watched it
herself.
specifically for Kate McKinnon's role. I loved her as the female
Who?
Egon. Kate McKinnon.
You mean McCarthy?
No, McKinnon.
Who the hell is that?
She's the one who played the female Egon on Ghostbusters.
I'm trying to picture who it was.
The blonde. The
Okay.
one with all the gadgets.
Okay. Yeah, she's okay. Melissa McCarthy was one of my bigger reasons to want to watch it. The other two women actually were really good. The other woman, she had some scenes that were all right, but I do not really find her all that funny. I did not really relate to her character much at all, and I feel like she was another one where they just kind of. I mean, obviously now the way they did this. The way they did this movie, I don't have a problem with all the men and the women and the way they did it. It's not like they were remaking the original or anything. Like that, the way they did it was fine. I mean, it was not. I don't really consider it a Ghostbuster movie in the franchise type thing, but I do think it's a Ghostbuster movie, and I did enjoy it to a degree. And there was parts I did laugh. I didn't hate it. Didn't like it as much as I thought I would. But again, I think that character they just kind of threw in there, and maybe that character would have been fine if they got a better actress. I don't think that actress was all that funny, and I think she might be a comedian. And maybe she is funny with being a stand-up or whatever the hell she does too, but I think in that role she was not funny. Maybe it was the writer or her or what, I don't know. But yeah, I just don't think that character was funny at all. That was what turned me off from the trailer right in the beginning when because that was one of the scenes they showed in the trailer was that, and I was just like, that's just stupid.
Alrighty, who's next with the production?
Oh yeah, we never finished, did we?
Good question.
Sorry, I did mine. Nobody else did theirs. Sorry, I thought we were done. I forgot.
Nope.
Sorry, folks out there. If anybody's still out there listening, I probably blow people away. Why is it going on for like an hour and Dave didn't say nothing?
I was kind of wondering, but since
hey, you're the host, Boris. I'm not gonna blame Dave this time. I'm gonna blame you because you know what? Dave wasn't the host. You were, so that's your fault.
Well, even when I was trying to say something on your topic, you were interrupting me, and I couldn't even say anything on your topic, let alone.
Dude, you gotta know, man. When I'm talking, you gotta just really interrupt me. Jacob. If you know Jacob, talk to Jacob. Ask him how he does because he interrupts me. He even interrupts me. I shouldn't be interrupted.
Hey, if I want to interrupt you, I will interrupt you. So
Dave can interrupt me, but not Jacob. Jacob's really good at interrupting me. Jacob gets on my nerves.
I'm like the best at interrupting people sometimes.
No, you're not. Jacob is.
Okay, well, my thoughts on the production are
Jacob and me.
Yeah, so I think Crow said his part on the production. I think Dave and Tammy have not.
No, Dave and Tammy have not.
Tammy has not. Boris has not. Dave has not. Go ahead, Tammy.
I think the production was very good for its time. I love the costumes. I think they were really good looking. They went a little offbeat on a few things as far as the whole sing and dance thing, almost like a musical in a couple spots, which was kind of really off the wall, but to bring in the comedy, it's like they threw a little bit of everything in there. We have the black guys doing the rap, and then we got the sing and dance,
just in case you never get to.
What?
You might as well do your favorite scenes and favorite characters too. So just in case you never get the chance to.
Well, one of my favorite scenes, of course, is I like the domino.
But
I thought that was just hilarious. I love that domino effect. Um and favorite actor is of course Carrie. You
Carrie
know,
Ellis.
yeah. I thought although the whole time I was watching it, I did keep thinking of the other movie, but just trying to the Princess Bride, trying to look at him and not think of the Princess Bride. It was kind of hard, but I think he did a good job, and um, I also liked when they jumped down onto the horses and they made you saw the horse's thought when she would the when
Oh,
yeah when her maid or whatever was gonna jump and you saw the horse's thought like I don't think then she
That
jumped.
part was funny. You
Yeah.
have got to be joking.
Yes. I mean, there was a lot of good parts, but like those two, I think, kind of stood out with me. So,
Okay. And I thought the production was okay for the time. I guess this time around, I was amused more this time around. I mean, there were some funny moments, to me, the getting down to the little itty bitty sticks with Little John and Robin Hood were kind of funny, and him going in the water and acting like he was drowning when it was even a chew. It was like, hey, I can jump on this side and this side. It's not really that big of a difference, you know. You know. He's like, it's the principle of the thing.
yeah.
But as far as production goes, it was okay for a Robin Hood movie. As far as the music goes, I did like the Men in Tights song. There wasn't really much music outside of things. As far as favorite characters, I think I liked Mel Brooks better. I still think of Carrie Elwes as the pirate Roberts. So I guess
Who's Wesley first?
I guess in a sense the fact that he does kind of look like the Errol Flynn version of Robin Hood. Um, he has some kudos for that, but other than the whole the whole hand puppet thing that him and the Rottenham were doing when they were fighting, that was kind of interesting. The fact that they had, because they had a hand shadow moment, they decided to do a hand shadow fight. That was great. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Me. What about you, Boris?
I also thought the production was pretty good. The settings and the costumes, I think it was, as you all have said, quite well done for its time. When it comes, oh yeah, speaking of the time, I especially found it funny when wait, who was it? Was it the sheriff or the prince? I'm not sure who shut that door down with a remote controller, which would have been impossible in that time period.
I think that
Yeah,
was the sheriff that did that, just like when they were practicing. the villagers were practicing shooting. They were practicing jousting, and they had big cans of like soup cans or whatever, like of soups that there never would have been around at that time.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of costumes, I especially liked this velvet robe that Marion was wearing when she came to warn Robin that they are planning to kill him. Um, uh, what else was I going to say about the production? Well, yeah, it was definitely good, especially the domino moment, which we have already discussed quite a bit. Uh, that was really well done, and it would probably also be my favorite scene. Actually, not only the domino part, but that whole scene of Robin barging into the castle and doing everything he did there. Like when he threw that dead pig on the princess table, that was hilarious. And later on, during the fight, when the prince was literally hiding behind the dead pig's penis or vagina, whatever it was. That really made me laugh, and yeah, that whole scene when they were fighting in the castle was really good, and it made me laugh a lot. And speaking of music, I'm surprised no one mentioned the Marion song, which I do like the Man in Tights song too, but I actually found the Marion song, whatever the actual title was, I can't remember the title, but I thought that song was really good because out of the context of the movie, it's like a really beautiful love song. But if you actually pay attention to some movie specific details, like when she says something like the key to my heart, and then you think of the key from the movie, that makes it rather hilarious than just plain romantic. Yeah, and my favorite scene, yeah, I have already said what it was, and the favorite character, well, probably Robin himself. Uh, what else was I going to say? Mm, I'm not sure. There actually were some parts where I really had a good laugh. Oh yeah, when Robin and Marion were singing together, and they were behind that curtain, and the sword. When the other guys were looking from the other side of the curtain, and the sword kind of looked like an erected penis. And, yeah, that was another hilarious moment. What else? It's kind of difficult to remember when our whole discussion went all over the place. Realistically.
Well, it's not my fault.
Yeah, let's say
You're the
it's.
host. It's your fault. You're supposed to control me. I know, it's funny. I can't control me.
Yeah.
In my soda back.
Oh
In
yeah.
my soda
During the archery contest, that last arrow, that
Don't you? I hope you didn't shake it up.
Huh?
I hope you didn't shake it up. Okay.
Somehow.
Because you be disappearing next.
Alrighty. So
No, somehow, huh? You have no idea how that happened?
on
No.
that note, if everyone has their thought processes on hopefully
Hey,
you
did a backflip.
are
Wow.
discussion on
The crazy root beer.
the Robin Hood Men in Tights. Let us know down in the comments of what you thought, and we'll see you next week. With I believe we're doing Blazing Saddles with Ron, correct?
Move it or lose it.
So, like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, I sound like my mother.
Everyone say good night.
Wait.
Oh.
We
What?
we didn't do music or favorite characters or scenes.
I did my favorite characters, and Boris, did you do your favorite characters or what?
Yes, I said it was
Well,
Robin, but yeah, we kind of
I
mixed the
didn't.
whole thing.
I
Tammy
didn't.
talked about the music.
I didn't say nothing about either.
Well,
Like you guys were talking about production. Next thing I know, you're saying, like, share, and subscribe. I know it's gone longer than it should, and I know that's my fault, but you know.
well, go ahead.
Ugh. Okay, well, yeah, Robin Hood, and I don't know. As I'm older, the Prince John was kind of was pretty funny, and Tracy Ullman was definitely not my favorite character, but definitely a notable character. She did a really good job in that role as Latrine. And yeah, so that, and as far as scenes, I definitely have more than one. This kind of movie, you definitely have to. I mean, yeah, I'd like to say the whole movie, but if I had to pick out a couple scenes, the Men in Tights dance, definitely. I mean, every time I think of this movie, I'm always saying tight tights, because that scene. Um, uh, and also another spot I always think about is the bell and the key going in, and then him turning it, and it's like it won't turn. It's like, what do you mean it won't turn? And you could tell the normal redhead that just wants something. And and then call a locksmith, call a locksmith, call a locksmith, call a locksmith. I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. Yeah, there's definitely scenes throughout the whole movie that's absolutely great. The bridge scene fight, him falling into the water, drowning. Not really. The whole thing. There was definitely the whole movie. There was definitely great scenes that was hilarious. But those stand out the most to me, and whenever I think of this movie, those are the scenes I think about the most. The rest, I'm like, oh yeah, like I would watch it and I knew what was coming up next. Like, all my memory came back of when all the times I watched it, and it was kind of like, and sometimes I'll watch something like if it's my second or maybe even third time. It's kind of like watching it for the first time again. If you hadn't watched it in a long time, kind of forget what happens. But this one I've seen quite a few times, so I kind of started remembering what was going to happen before it happened. Not telekinesis this time. It's just because I watched it before.
Yeah.
But yeah. So and as far as music, yeah, I think it was fun. I mean, I'm not a big musical person. Unless like rock musical type thing. Usually. It depends, or like in my favorite show, sometimes they'll have a musical, and the way they do it is good. But yeah, I enjoyed the way they did that. It was spoof music, and it was definitely funny. I mean, even the rap parts, which I'm definitely not a fan of rap anymore. I was in the '80s, but then it got bad. But we won't talk about that. So yeah, I enjoyed the music. I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. It kept right on point with the rest of the movie, which was just big spoof of everything type thing. So yeah, that's what I thought. Tammy, what about you?
She's already gone.
I already
Okay.
did all of mine.
Well, I was talking to the 5-year-old for like 2 minutes, and I don't know how you guys all went in that time, but I guess that's when it happened.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, on that note, hopefully, like I said, hopefully
Check
you have
out my
enjoyed
for more me, because I know you guys can't get enough of me. For more me, go go to YouTube at Kroll 1973. That's KROL 1973 YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe on that channel and on this, just like Dave says.
And we'll see you next week for Blazing Saddles. So everyone say good night.
And it's not
Good
next week, the week
night.
after, because there's a small chance we might have to postpone, guys. Sorry.
night.
Well, we might have another engagement.
All right. Everyone say good night.
Good night.
Good
Good day.
night.
I said good day.
I say hoot hoot.
You know, I actually got that from the 70s show. The character, that's what he always says when he leaves.
Well,
I
and
said
if
good
you
day.
know the lyrics to the Men in Tights song, you can sing it now.